Saturday, August 4th, 4 a.m. Mountain Time, 2018. Guys, in this video, we're going to take a look at a couple of things, some unusual pictures that have surfaced out of Clayton, North Carolina, and some unusual UV readings that I want to start with first from Amsterdam up here in Northern Europe at the 52-degree north latitude. Up in this part of the world, the UV, even on a hot summer day, shouldn't be above 3, probably at the best, maybe 4. I mean, that's how it's always kind of trended. Here's a global map of UV averages. Across the equator, the UV's always high. It's the tropics. The UV's always 14, 15, 17 is not even unheard of. But up here, this is where we're talking about in this blue area. I mean, we are, not too far from the Arctic Circle. But we're at the 52-degree north latitude. Up here, the blues are 2 and 3, and these are UV indexes, okay? So to see and all week long, that's what we've seen from Amsterdam. This is the reading from today. It was an 8.63. This week, I've gotten readings from Amsterdam over 9. That's unprecedented for that area. And this is what he sent me today in email. His name's Ray. He's a Team UV member and has been sending readings from Northern Europe and Amsterdam now for 2 years. Last year, a high number from Amsterdam was a 3. It was always consistently in the right parameter. So that always told us that the ozone above Amsterdam and Northern Europe was healthy, was in good shape. It was where it was supposed to be with regard to the UV. Not this year. It's way, way off. And he's using the same instrument at the same location. So this is the email that Ray sent me today. It says, yes, Michael, again, the UVAB was very high, 8.63. Our grasses are already scorched and most burned. This is very unusual, or this is a very unusual situation, and it doesn't seem to get better. We are breaking heat records and are planning to have an emergency plan for water support. Kind regards, Ray. And that's what's going on over there in Northern Europe in Amsterdam. They're looking to, set up water management systems. And, they're not used to the high temperatures. And I'm not so sure that the high UV is even being discussed. But biologically, the ecosystem over here is not used to UV of 8 or 9. If it gets up that high, it can damage plants and, crops. So those are things that need to be considered. But I just wanted to share that with you guys because last year, all of the readings that he sent me from Amsterdam were good. They were in the 2 and 3 range, just like it shows here. This year, especially this last week, he's been showing in the green and yellow range, which would be down through here. And he's up here at the 52-degree north latitude. So highly unusual readings coming out of Amsterdam with regard to UV. So I wanted to touch on that. I did put it in the UV video, but I wanted to elaborate a little bit more on it because that is very unusual, guys. And that tells us that there's something up with the ozone in that part of the world and all over the world for that matter. I will say, though, across the desert out here where I'm at, the UV hasn't been that far off. I had a couple of days where it was up above 13. And every other day has been, where it should be. But anyway, down to North Carolina. We are in Clayton, North Carolina, where I've received some unusual, I'll just leave it at that, some unusual pictures of some trees and grass, different types of shrubs from this area near some very large electrical some power lines. Look at here. See what I mean? And this is what the observer noticed, and it just didn't look right. The other trees that are farther away look healthy. They look good. But for some reason, underneath this tree, which is underneath this tower, which is not far from a road, she was able to get some photographs of these trees that look like all the way back through here, as far as you can see, they're burnt. They're just dried completely out. And it looks like they were growing and just stopped suddenly. But here's the thing. It didn't affect, or whatever it was, it didn't affect all of the trees. And there are many, many trees through here. And if you look at this area on Google Earth, you can see that years ago, this area where the lines run and these big towers stand, it was cleaned out so they could get back there. Here it is right here, in fact, I think. Yeah, right here. You can see that this area where the wires run, all of this was cleared out so that they could get back there and do maintenance if they had to with, maintenance trucks. I understand that. But over the years, trees have grown back. They're not that big, as you can see from these pictures that I'm about to share with you. But what happened here? Was this the result or the side effect of a possible lightning strike? Because let's face it, you know that these big, tall structures get struck by lightning occasionally. They have to. They're like big lightning rods. But anyway, what happened to these trees and things below these towers? But it wasn't just, it wasn't everything. It was just these trees. And you can see a species of trees right below the tower that almost look jet black. I think I've got one where I zoomed in pretty tight. But these trees over here look fine. These trees over here look fine. It's just right underneath the wires. And that's what piqued the viewer's interest, was their position underneath these wires. And then there's some big, tall poles right down the street from the same exact location. And a cornfield in the same area underneath some unique wires. The corn, which it's not ready for harvest yet, was brown. And it was just underneath these wires. She noticed the corn was brown. Zoom in a little tighter here. You can see there's some trees right near the base of the tower. Maybe it was a lightning strike that did this, but I don't understand why it didn't affect all of the living organisms here with regard to the brush, the bushes, the trees. These are different types of trees. The grass, if they sprayed something in here, then why didn't it affect everything? And that's something to consider. But if you look over here, you can see it almost looks, if you look up, I think I have a picture where you can see that. There's that darker tree at the base of that tower. That one picture that I just showed you, you can see some damage up through here, just in that area. And it's the closest to these trees that look damaged as well. I don't know if you can see it in this picture or not. Let's take a closer look. Yeah, you can kind of see it here. There's some damage up on this tree that goes vertical. But the rest of those trees that are farther away from the wires and the poles look pretty good. So I just thought I'd share these with you guys, and maybe you've seen this type of unusual phenomenon, I guess. A bunch of dead trees underneath these tall electrical wires, these towering poles that stretch for hundreds of miles. It is kind of unusual, definitely, but I don't know what we've got going on here. Could be the side effect of a lightning strike, I'm assuming, but why was it why did it only affect these trees? So it was a good observation, and it raises a good question. And the corn, she said, underneath these wires was brown, and it wasn't brown anywhere else. So again, this was an observation taken from Clayton, North Carolina. Here's a good look here at these trees that are just absolute toast. Unbelievable. And it looks like whatever it was, it happened rather quickly. So this is where the general location is at. I'm not at the exact location because it doesn't show the exact same pictures that she shared with me on Google Earth, but this is the area. And there's some trees and shrubs and stuff growing up in here, grass. And I just showed you what they look like today. And something happened in that area, kind of unusual. All right, guys, that's all I got for now. The hurricane is still on course to come close to Hawaii right now, still several days out. It is a Cat 3 as I do this video, strengthened from a Cat 2, expected to become a Cat 4, but this forecasting model is changing literally every hour. So right now it's a 3, expected to become a 4 and go just south of the big island of Hawaii. But again, this is a forecasted model 5 days out. It can and will change. Thanks for watching. Have a super day and be safe out there, guys.